here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Heal Your Heart, Find True Love After Toxic Love, and Be Happier Now virtual conference. Today, I'm so excited to talk to my good friend, Mia Saenz. And in this chat, Mia is sharing with us how love changes our story. Mia is a love activist and the creator of Women Making Miracles. She stands for love and supports you do the same. Mia helps those who feel alone and yet dream of love to make love real in their lives so they can then go out and seed love into the world. I love the wording on this. Mia helps you develop yourself, develop your miracle, and finally develop your world as a clairvoyant. Mia also helps you tune into love's promise for your life and your work. Oh, and I am your host, Denise Kavalauskas, and it is my mission to help you heal your heart and find true love, just like I did. I too was in a very emotional, verbal, financial, and abusive marriage for over 20 years and found true love after toxic love. And what lights me up is seeing you heal your heart and find true love after toxic love and be happier now. And this conference was created just for you with my hand-picked experts that know exactly what you've been through and have the tools to guide you through your time of need. Mia, I'm so honored to have you on this panel of experts and even more excited for you to share your message of love changes your story. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's lovely to be here. That was a great intro. You did that very well.
Not my first rodeo.
Not mine either, but I still stumble over if I have to read or anything, I stumble over that. I just let it, so I try to let it flow naturally.
Yeah, I do feel like...
You're a brilliant woman. Let's give you an anchor position.
You're so cute. Well, let's get into the topic because I really want the audience to hear, get to know you and your message and hear about what does it take for a life that loves you back? Can you tell us about a life that loves you back?
Yeah. So we end up just growing up in our environment and our circumstances that raised us, that we've experienced. And generally, it's not a life that loves you back, meaning you can't find deep love in that life, whether you love the path that you're on, you love the relationship you're in, you love all your friends, you may love them, but the depth of security and safety and beauty that brings us back to the form of self-love, we want that in our experience. We want to be able to create our life so that it actually formulates back to us in a loving vibration.
Yeah.
Like the Hertz 525, right? The megahertz, and that's the vibration of love, that sound, and so that's what we want all the time, something very smooth as we go along.
Yeah, and it's challenging when we're coming from, and that will be our next topic is the consciousness, but when we're coming from a consciousness of the lower vibrational emotions of, shame and guilt, and even when we blame ourselves or feel guilty for what we've done or haven't done. So how do we get to that conscious of self-love? Because I know it's love and above is where we want to be. And that's what you're talking about, right? That love and above.
Right. Absolutely.
Vibration.
Yeah. Well, first it's a choice, right? It's a decision. What do I want? Do I want to remain where I am, or do I want to elevate to a different space? Yeah. So let me just give a teeny bit of background story so people can see and they don't think I'm just like, woo, up in the, the ethers there. I literally came from a very, I would say loving, but also incredibly chaotic and abusive childhood. I say loving because I know that my mother loved me, but I also discovered growing up and also older that she was mentally ill. And so when you come from an environment like that, which was perfect for the work I'm in, literally, I teach self-love. I gained love because I needed to. It's not because I like the most popular chick on the planet, I'm like, hey, I'm going to teach everybody what to do. It's because I've taken this journey into love, and I've healed my life. And I'm always healing it. We always are on that. And so I want to share that because 12 years ago, I literally was dying. And there was a moment I had been, 9/11 had really messed me up emotionally for my PTSD, or my CPTSD, my complex childhood. And then I was hit in the head with some boxes at a department store that we all go to that sells everything for back to school. And I was in a wheelchair after that because it ruptured the bottom of my spine. I had paralysis in my hands. I would drop stuff in my legs. I would drag my feet. It was not a pretty sight. And so my journey then began for about 5 years, or 3.5 to 4 years of recovery every day for 5 days, physical therapy, an hour and a half a day. I was just getting worse and worse and worse, to where I couldn't even walk outside. I really had to be in a wheelchair. It was not a pretty sight. Somebody had to help me get changed and all that. So in that moment of 2008, August, or actually it wasn't August, it was July, the middle of July, a month before my birthday, that the doctor said, you have less than 2 years to live. Your organs are closing and you need to get your affairs in order. And so that's kind of a, wow, what do I do, right? I've got young kids, I'm married, I have this life that's not functioning. Where do we go? What do we do? And a month later, I had this awakening moment on my birthday where literally I heard, I had a moment with God, and I heard a message that said, you've been unhappy your whole life. What would it be like to be happy? And I was like, wow, that's quite a concept. Little did I know it was the pushing off the cliff into the life I'm living now, where I literally examined it. It's my first process that's in my arsenal of stuff that we go through, or not so much the first one at the moment, but we bring it in, called Dream Blueprint Create. Literally, what do you want in your life? That's where I could see in the pillars of life, spirituality, family, work, home, and love, how we literally recreate who we are. And my body was nimble, and my relationship was beautiful, and I could see it wasn't with my husband. And in that moment, I said, this is too beautiful to pass up. I'm going for it. So I literally did everything I could to get to that place of functioning so that I could enter this life that I live now. And so in that, I saw my vision of coaching. I saw my vision of being a woman who was, hanging out with her friends, having a great time, wearing 5-6-inch high heels again that I hadn't worn in years, and things like that. Totally different than what I had been for many years as I guess you'd call it an invalid, more or less.
Yeah.
And so in that, I literally knew that my life had to come from love. I've been working on it since I was 24. It's now 34 years, ladies, that I've been working on self-love. And so we have these moments of ups and downs. I did too. I came to a place that was dark, and I said, I've got to change my life, or else I know I'm out of here. So that's what a life that loves you back looks like. You look at your life, you see what serves you and doesn't serve you. Love changes the energy of our story. Mm-hmm. When we love ourselves enough to fight for ourselves, to do the things that our saboteur says, you don't need to do that. Don't waste your time. You do it anyways, and you do it with gusto because you know it's life altering.
Yeah, so true. Two things came up for me, Mia, while you were speaking. One is absolutely love everything. Like, I talk about how you love your abuse story, how you love the abuse, how you love the abuser, and that changes everything. And the other thing is when you said, what do you want in your life? I talk to a lot of women, and they can't even answer that question. They're not even in a place where they can say, here's what I want in my life. So for the audience, I just want to give a little tip here, where if that's where you're at, where you heard Mia say, what do you want in your life? And you're thinking, I don't know. Then I encourage you, or I invite you to make a list of all the things that you don't want, right? And then you have a contrast to what you do want. So, because it's really easy for us to go into what I don't want. I don't want this, I don't want that. And then you can just go on the opposite side of that line to talk about what you do want. And that helps you get to where you do want, because we all know what we do want. Maybe we just can't express it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I have this game, it's a transformational game I play with my clients. It's called What Do You Want? And so some transformational programs will scream it at you. What do you want? What do you want? Like a army thing. And I've done that, not with my clients. I've been through that, and it's not love. So we soften it. Remember, gentleness allows in love. And so we soften it. What do you want? You don't have to be screamed at in order to gain what you want. You know, the craziest things will come out of you. I've worked with women in their 70s that'll start saying, oh, sex, sex. You know, they really want to have their body move. They want to be connected. Some people want freedom of movement. Some people want a vacation. You know, it's okay what you want, but it's about identifying that.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. I love that. So let's talk about the inner child, because I know that this is all connected to the inner child. So how can the audience, for them, connect the inner child in this?
So beautiful. You know, the inner child is the most gorgeously loving being. And over the years, I've had people who start at the very beginning of self-love and don't understand even what it's like for divine love, God, creator, source, to love them. And so I like to explain it the same way as our inner child. Think of the most loving experience that you've ever had. If you haven't had your own children or grandchildren, think about your puppies or your kitties or something that touches you. The protection, the love, the nurturing, the always seeking to support that being. That is true love. That's what the inner child needs from us. It's that younger, beautiful little being of who we were. And we go in with the inner child process or other processes that people create, and we heal that space, those stories, those tales. You can do it in a timeline form if there was a lot of abuse. But you start, if you do take my free gift, which has that in it, you start it at 3 and 4. And the reason we go that young is in the Western world, which is a very large part of humanity. And I believe also everyone else who's watching in other countries too, we start at 3 and 4 in nursery school or sending them off to grandma or something like that. And so that's where a baby's experience totally changes, a human being. And so we start there and we go up to 18. Now you can also work this as an adult if you've had trauma or have been raped or beaten or things like that. You can go in and you can heal that as well. It's about identifying literally how love changes the energy of our story when we're there supporting our younger self in the process that I give you guys. And I can only speak from the reflection work and the stuff that I knew. This is where, when we see the grown-up us supporting and loving the younger actually softens and shifts because it understands that we're there to support the younger. We're there as one, and look what we've grown up into. We're able to look back on ourselves to say, hey, I'm here to help you. Even after the fact, we have this DNA lineage that goes through us on a cellular level, whether it's from 8 generations back or whether we're creating it right now. We can go in and literally change the energy of that story of who we are, which is what supports our growth of self-love into the space of creating a life that loves us back. So we have to love ourselves first before we can even ask for that life to love us back, because we need to discover what it is.
Yeah, so beautiful. And what came up for me, Mia, when you were talking is the adult part of us speaking to the inner child part of us, because if when we were growing up, we didn't get that support from mom or dad or whoever was raising us, then it's really super important for us to feel that support. And we can do that for ourselves by simply giving that support. So I always view it, or I always explain it in like a parent-child, where now as the adult, you're the parent to you as the little child, and give your little child everything that you needed back then and that you know now from the adult part of you. You can do that, and that's changing the story as well, and beautiful.
Yes, and it is beautiful. It's so beautiful. When Denise and I work with people and they do this kind of inner work, the stories that you'll tell us, that you see, that you seek, that you're shifting, that you're changing, are so remarkable. within who you are, that there's nothing greater than seeing your own advancement and your own elevation and your own awareness growing and your own consciousness expanding. It really is very, very beautiful. And when you can softly say, that's really lovely, it feels so good, you know you're on your right path. You know you're on your right path, and you will get there. Do you want to be in dislike, anger against yourself, or do you really want to love yourself? It's a choice, and it's a decision that you have to make, because if you don't believe you can get through just because you were wired that way, let your person that you're working with know, because they will work on your wiring, literally.
Yeah, and it's really easy for us, Mia, and myself to sit here and say this, but what do you say, Mia, to those who have those deep beliefs, those inner beliefs that they maybe have been trying to break, but it's hard for them to break those beliefs? What do you say to them?
Excuse me. And I giggle because I now, you're asking me an honest question. I'm going to give you an honest answer. Give me 2 weeks and you'll see yourself soften, literally. I've had clients come to me who, and I could say, and Denise too, because I know Denise's work. She's fabulous. I've had clients come to me with you're not getting in. You're not getting in. I had somebody, even this year, one of my, love her so much. I was going to call her Knucklehead only because she was trying to fight it. We met 3 times before she decided to work with me. And it was really beautiful. And I was slightly fearful that I may not reach her because, her shame was so high and everything. Let me tell you, within the second session, she said, I'm ready to open up to you. This is one woman who's experienced shame, body shame, called names, feeling horrible her whole life. Because when you connect with somebody that feels loving to you, absorb that love, and you're going to have a massive shift. And I can tell you, her life has changed. She's still not about every day, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. But she is kinder, and once she did say, I love myself, and she meant it. And so it's like, and we're only a couple months in. So it's like, from one of the slowest people, meaning that she was so firm that I would not get through, to be able to break through. It's remarkable to see women's lives changed. There's thousands that I've worked with in group, and a couple hundred that I've worked with over the last 12 years. So when you add that up and you see the quantification, or the how many people are successful to being unsuccessful, I've only had 2 that actually dropped their own ball because they just were in. One was suicidal, and it just wasn't my place, and the other one just wanted to live in her self-pity. I mean, I worked with her off and on for a couple of years, and when I see it, she still has the same thought process. So it's about changing who you are. If you want something great, strive for it. They say fake it till you make it. I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I believe in change it as you make it. So as you're changing your concepts of you, and that you can acquire a family, a husband, a lover, whatever you want, self-love, the depth of wealth even. It's about understanding that you want it. You have to claim it in order to receive it. So if you're blocking it, it's really, really hard to claim it. Even the most powerful magicians like us, if you're blocked, you're blocked. If you don't want to shift, you don't want to shift. And generally, you're not going to be seeking someone like us out.
Correct. That's why we always say, if you're ready,
yeah, exactly.
You got to be ready. So I want to touch on the thought and the belief, because maybe the audience doesn't know, but a belief is simply a thought that you've thought of over and over and over again. So example, like when we're growing up, this is just what's coming up for me. I grew up in South Florida, and so my mom and dad would say, close the door, we're not air conditioning the neighborhood, right? So then the belief, the thought there was, we don't have enough money, right? And so there was that thought over and over again, which became a belief. So in order to break the belief, you just change the thought, and then you repeat the new thought, and then it becomes a new belief. And that's, and like you said, it's first you have to choose and be ready and say, I'm done with the past, and now I want something new. And then
About
trust.
changing new It's about changing patterns in our brain. Our
Right.
subconscious has created so much. And it's really, I used to be like, oh my God, the subconscious is so scary. It's this like ironclad vault, but it literally is there to support us. So as we change and shift into love, we can see that every aspect of us can change and shift too. So as we present more positive information, like Denise was saying, I call it layering in the patterns of what we want to believe, our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we do that, guess what? Our subconscious begins to regurgitate that stuff up to our conscious, and they become equal in that respect. And so it's literally beautiful to watch yourself shift and change.
Yeah. And that's a great segue into mastering your thinking to gain what you want. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So just as we lay in new patterns to support our subconscious on the love for ourselves, we do it with mastering our beliefs. It's a mindset trick. So I have my clients start 3 times a day, setting their alarm, morning, noon, and night, and then stopping when it goes off. What am I thinking? Is it positive? Is it negative? Am I monkey mind back and forth with all of society? Or have I removed it and allowed clarity to guide me? So it literally is about, what are you doing? And you're going to train yourself and shift yourself. It's as simple as saying, I don't want to think like this. If you want to change the way you're thinking, you have to declare it out loud. I don't want to think like this. And then shift it. How do you shift it? My big thing again is puppies and kitties. If you can't change your mind, get your mind on those cute little puppies, kitties, and bunnies, and then your mind will change into another pattern, into another place.
Yeah, and YouTube is great for that, Mia. I've even said that to one of my clients. I forget what her favorite breed of dog was. And I'm like, go on YouTube and put in the breed of the dog. And you're going to see a ton of videos of these cute little puppies jumping around. And it's going to literally shift your energy into a fun and loving, and you're going to be laughing. And it's going to take your mind off of the gunk that you've been focusing on. Yeah, who doesn't love puppies and kitties? Or little funny babies with little saggy diapers.
Yesterday, my husband and I were driving and in town, and he was saying something that started to irritate me a little bit. And I said, I really don't want to talk about this right now. I have a client. We're back in my office. I have to go home. I have a client, and I'd like to change the conversation. And he's like, well, what do you want to change it to? So I said, puppies or kitties, because I had no other choice to change it, at the moment. So he's like, okay, he understood that.
Yeah, which is love, right? What you're describing is love, because we love the puppies and kitties, which is going back to the beginning of this conversation, where love changes our story, right? That's the quick shift into love from the lower levels of consciousness, which brings you up to love. I love that.
Can I say something? Yeah, can I say something about this? I just had this vision as you were talking, as you were saying that, and that is that some people may say, well, that's not real, just to change your thought. Well, look, everybody, we create what we see, think, and feel. What do you want to see, think, and feel? These are literally tips and tools into changing from either a chaotic behavior, an abusive behavior, listening to a narcissistic partner that's shouting in your head all the time. You don't deserve that. The bottom line is you deserve love, and you deserve peace, and you deserve amazing health and your body to feel orgasmic, literally. What does that feel like? You get oxytocin when you're thinking about puppies and kitties, right? Just as if you're thinking about sex, you're going to have oxytocin flowing. So what do you want to think about? That's what's so important. Who cares what our dad's brother's father said when we were a child? Shift that crap and change it into whatever you want your experience to be. This is why we're such amazing creators. Divine love is part of who we are. We're infinite spiritual beings. So let's allow that grace of the human with the spiritual to blend together and be who we want to be.
Yeah, it really is that simple. It really is just a choice to shift it. It really is just saying enough is enough of whatever is in the past and to choose something different for yourself. Um, I feel like society has made it complicated. Even therapy has made it complicated with the big words and the diagnosis and this and that. When really, in actuality, all you have to do is just make a choice and say, I'm done with that and I want this. Now take a step into what this is for you.
Yeah. Man, for me, it's this glorious life living on this island with deers and rabbits and forests and beautiful waters. And right now, unfortunately, some smoggy, foggy, smoky air, but it won't stay. It's literally about creating exactly what you want, even in the relationships. Look at the lady across from me. She just got married 2 months ago, or 3 months ago. Oh my God. You know, her story is so powerful that it shows us that we can literally step out of one space and into another. You know, it's as magical as that. And I'm going to say it's magical, and we are. But again, it's a choice. What do you want to believe and where do you want to move into? I'm thinking about yesterday, I had this brilliance of, or Facebook had this brilliance. I was posting on my page and in my group. And my group was posting to the community on the island that I was in. Exactly. So all of a sudden I realized my artwork is up there asking people, okay, so create what you want today. And then I put up a picture of our house in the snow going, out of 2020, what's your favorite experience? And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna let those go because, you know, it brought in a lot of conversation in that group. Everybody loved it, but there were 2 naysayers. So I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there, hopefully not watching this show, but there are people that are not going to believe that you can change the energy of your story. Why? Because they've never been able to do it, because they've never sought it out. Mm-hmm. So a belief system is what you believe, not what your parents believe or your children believe or your boyfriend believes. Your spouse, we have to be incredibly strong, or your girlfriend, if you go with that gender. We have to be incredibly strong within ourselves. And in that, if we believe we're pulling things into us energetically, love and money and people and experiences, then that's what you need to stay firm in. If you want something great, follow it to the end. Think about it as like a marathon, literally. It's a one step in front of the other. Practice makes proficiency. We cannot be proficient if we don't practice. Will we ever fall off the wagon? Yes, we have to get back up, right? You get sick, you go under, you feel like out of alignment. You have a bad fight with somebody, you go out of alignment. It's about picking yourself up. What do you want? Talk to yourself. What do you want? Do you like this feeling that you're feeling over here in an argument, or do you like this other feeling? Go with that. You can close down energies on people and conversations, even spouses. I love you, but I really don't want to talk about this right now. It's upsetting me. Or I love you, you know, because a lot of times men feel like when we say no, that we don't love them. So I love you, but I need a different energy right now. I love you. I really want to be happy. I really want to feel the joy. You need to talk to your partners or anyone that's in your life, because your energy is going to transform them into even being better people and supporting you. And some people actually, I mean, I don't want to hear it, but some people find something better for themselves when they claim who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the tips that one of my coaches had shared with me is, I don't get you, I don't understand you, but I love you. And Ray and I say that to each other all the time. I'm like, I don't get you, I don't understand you, but I love you. And you know, and then
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and then it's just mutual. Like, I don't understand what you're trying to, whatever, and it's okay. I don't have to understand you. You don't have to understand me. But right, the love is still there. And every time we say that to each other, it kind of like whatever was there, just kind of, you know, we laugh it off and it goes away. It changes it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to pick that up.
Absolutely. It's
With
yours,
my
baby.
husband, I'm like, woo! Instead of saying, oh, sorry, I don't understand right now. You know, it's like, I love exactly, and I just said it too. You know what? And here I'm saying that when I said I love you, but or whatever, I love you. I need my space, and I guess I do see that. But I liked how Denise said it too, because I'm like, oh yeah, I like that one. It's beautiful to be able to communicate with anyone in our field or our arena. You know, anybody in our space, our children, our friends, our relatives, in the way in which we feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to them like that, then obviously something's off with them. And that's okay. Remember, self-love is a journey. It's a destination. We will never completely get to a place, otherwise we'd be transcended off this planet. We can keep growing and growing and growing. And the beauty of that is a lot of people are going to leave our space that are not elevated high enough, but we don't care because we understand we still love them. We still support them, and we are where our soul is to be. This is our soul's journey. As you get to love your own soul's journey, you're going to respect somebody else's journey and just say, I love you, and I'm still doing this. And it's okay if you think I'm a bit odd. It's okay. You know, they'll catch up to you. I promise you. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. There was about 3 or 4 years in my life where the men I was dating would say, you're weird, or you're this, or you're that. And I even had a breakup with one of my best friends. She was a therapist, and she just, I guess, didn't get it. And she came back about 3 years later and said, I didn't understand. Now I understand what you teach. The love is so deep, is so great. And the men that thought I was weird, guess what? They still love me, even though they thought I was weird. Even today, 10 years later, we're still friends, because not in the same way that we were before, but it's about sticking to your guns, sticking to your everything, and the world will catch up with you. The world.
And if they don't, that's okay too. It's their journey, and you have to keep your focus on your journey. And it's so beautiful, because what becomes of that is it's amazing. It's magical. Like Mia said, it's truly magical. Well, Mia, I know that you have a gift for our audience. Would you share a little bit about your gift for them?
I love my gift.
Well, that's good.
I created this gift because I wanted everyone to have the work that I give out free. And if you decide you want to work with me, that's a different story. That's fine. But to have the work, I believe information is freedom, and the other, to work with coaches, is obviously not. So I created a resource site called the Treasure Trove. It's a free platform, and we have all the work that I give to my clients in there. You can have at it. You can write me. And I just want you to enjoy your journey that you're on. Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Enjoy it.
And generous, which that's Mia all the way. She's super generous and loving, and yeah, they're gonna fall in love with you.
We have a love fest going on.
I love you. No, I love you. No, I love you. Well, thank you so much, Mia, for sharing your energy and your amazing message. It's been a true honor to have you as a guest on the Heal Your Heart, Find True Love After Toxic Love and Be Happier Now virtual conference. And to you, the audience, thank you for being here and investing this time into healing your heart. You're so worth it. Take advantage of Mia's amazing, generous gift, and I will see you on the next interview. Bye.